Yo, Cosmos, what's up, bro? Mr. Hoffer, what's up? Give me 1 second, guys. I'm just gonna share the stream to my Twitter, and then we're gonna jump straight into it. Because I'm hyped about this week's chapter. If you guys are not following the Twitter, follow the Twitter so you can get regular updates. Hold on, let me put in the chat. Here we go. Burrow, what's up? What's good, bro? Chapter is good. Oh, you've already read it? Cosmos, have you already read it? I just saw it came out right now. Like, I checked maybe basically when I posted that I was gonna react to it in 20 minutes is when I noticed it came out. So I'm on it right now. I'm on the front page. It says Escape Limit. I haven't seen the cover page yet. Just the title. Chapter 1078, Escape Limit on OP Scans. I'm hyped for this one, guys. I'm hyped for this one. I wasn't sure. Hold on. Let me adjust my camera. I think I hit it when I was typing. Give me 1 second, guys. Okay, there we go. So I wasn't sure if I was gonna be able to live react to this chapter due to like my schedule right now, but I'm very happy because it looks like, well, I'm here right now, so we're live reacting to it. Yeah, I had to read it. How else am I gonna mod? Fair point. So if you see any spoilers, just get rid of it. I don't care. Don't necessarily delete them unless it's someone trolling, but just block it, please. Because I like to read the chat as we go through it. So, Burrow, Mr. Hoffer, Cosmos, let's get into it, guys. Some others will join in as we go. There's Ringo. The GOAT is here. Yo, I gotta read it and I'll be back. Go read it. Or read along if you want to, Ringo. But I don't want to waste any time, guys. We're going to jump right into it. So here we go. One Piece, chapter 1078, Escape Limit. I'm guessing we're going to be showing Egghead stuff still. Chapter, Germa 66, an Emotionless Excursion. Volume 33, Formation Neo-Mads. And we got, let me get a clear look at this. We got Judge and Caesar back to back, or side by side, and the Germa flag above them. And it looks like a castle. I was about to say Whole Cake Island, but wait, yeah, this is what am I talking about? This is Whole Cake Island. This is for some reason I keep thinking it's Vegapunk's flashback, when clearly Judge is old now. So this is them in Whole Cake Island. Okay. Let's read. I go read fast and I'll be back. All right, Hoffer. All right, Ringo. Don't worry. This won't be rushed. This won't be a rushed stream by any means. All right. Island of the Future, Egghead Laboratory. Who is the conversation with? Uncle Kizaru, and we got Sentamaru. Someone blew up the roof on the laboratory there. 2F, Building B, so the far right side. And we got Jinbei and we got Stussy. Yeah, CP0's mission was to eliminate the doctor and then wait for Kizaru's arrival. The government's extra prepared, it seems. Yes, they see this as an even more serious matter than Ohara. They see this as an even more serious matter than Ohara. Well, yeah. Because, Vegapunk and all the Vegapunks collectively and everything that he stored is more information than Ohara had. Ohara were just scratching the surface, right? So they basically put out that fire before it even grew, when it was just a tiny little fire. But Vegapunk, if he chooses to go against them, is a serious threat. So yeah, this should be bigger than Ohara, actually. The thing with Ohara was the potential. With Vegapunk, it's the amount of knowledge he's already acquired. It's not Whole Cake, bro. That's the Germa ship. Small fleet and the chapter by the side. Add the chapter by the side. Okay. I don't know if it's risky. Should I just Google OP scans One Piece chapter 1078, or just Google OP scans, click on the site, and then go to 1078. I don't know. if I should share it. I don't know. For some reason it just feels off. But yeah, so hold on. I know it's the Germa ship, but what is that behind them? Why does it look like a castle? Plus, aren't they still in Whole Cake Island anyways? When did they leave? Weren't they fighting the invaders as well, along with the Big Mom pirates? Like Caesar, we saw Caesar there. We saw the Vince Smokes. We haven't really seen them leave Whole Cake Island. But anyways, let's continue. So here's Stussy. Reason one being that the doctor took the forbidden research of O'Hara and continued it. Oh yeah. I forgot about that. He went there and recovered the books. Reason two is that Egghead has the combat strength that O'Hara didn't. True as well. Excuse me. Those reasons are enough for them to bring unexpected forces into action. Call me if anything comes up. Wait. Stella is talking to Sentomaru. I gotta slow down. Sometimes I miss the most obvious stuff. I thought she was talking to Jinbei. I didn't even see the dead Mushi. Reason one being that the doctor took the forbidden research and continued the reason two being. So she's telling this to Sentomaru, and then Sentomaru goes, those reasons are enough. No. Stussy goes, those reasons are enough for them to bring unexpected forces into action. So Sentomaru says, call me if anything comes up. All communication equipment in the labo phase are destroyed. So Sentomaru is full 100% on board with them now. So it's going to be interesting when Kizaru comes, because it seems like there's no convincing Sentomaru to come back to the marine side. Like, that's it. The German castle is on the small fleet. Oh, okay. My mistake then. Caesar left Whole Cake with the German siblings after the Katakuri fight. Did we actually see them leave? You can display the chapter on the screen if it has a filter and overlay. What do you mean filter and overlay? Okay, let me do it, and then we'll see how it goes. Hopefully, it's not messed up. So there's the link, guys. Go ahead and click on that link, and you got the chapter. But again, this is OP scans, right? This isn't going to be as clear as TCB when it comes out eventually. But it probably won't come out today. That's why I read OP. Like, if it didn't come out, if it came out even a few hours later, I probably would not have been able to live react to this chapter at all. So it's a good thing it came out now. Anyways, Fabio Phase Factory. You heard that, right? Learn from history and think about what the Navy could do here. You don't have time to hesitate. You heard that, right? Learn from the history and think about what the Navy could do here. You don't have time to hesitate. Sentomaru was given like a pep talk. And then we got all of the robots, the creations of Vegapunk. Set sail. We are escaping this island before the Navy gets here. Let's do as Sir Sentomaru says. It's going to be interesting if Sentomaru bumps into Kizaru, because Sentomaru is on board 100%, 110%. Research Area 3F, Building C. Usopp, Lilith. You goddamn brat. Undo this petrification. My right side was off guard. And we got Usopp and Lilith frozen into stone. Frankie frozen into stone. But my left side can still move. Oh, that's Frankie saying that. Why can his left side still move? If you undo this right now, we will forgive you. And she seems like she does not care at all. Ah, damn it. And then we have Pythagoras. Why are you doing this, S-Snake? On whose orders? Pythagoras. And she's... Oh, shit. She killed Pythagoras. She just killed Pythagoras. He exploded. Right? Or is that Kizaru or something? Frankie only got half petrified. Yeah. But why though? Wait. Hey, wait up. I swear, it seems like Boa's Seraphim is just a league above the other Seraphims, power scaling wise. She's way too OP. 2F building A. I hope everyone's okay. We got Robin's crew, Robin, Chopper, and Atlas. I've been hearing explosions and screams. I'm sure that the Seraphim are on a rampage. No, that's incomprehensible. Who says that? Atlas? So Robin says, I'm sure that the Seraphim are on a rampage. No, that's incomprehensible. They clearly are now. How's anyone still denying it? I guess this group is probably the only group that hasn't bumped into any action yet. If Nami screams, there is someone who will show up to rescue her in a heartbeat. Yeah. Teams that are in a fight are stuck. While we are all busy fighting, something might happen to Vegapunk. You're right. It's probably already happened. It's probably too late now. Come to think of it, there's one lab that was once used and is now sealed off. I don't think anyone would have any use for that place though. Let's check it out. Lead the way, Atlas. Sure. So this is gonna be like the Mr. Prince group of this arc, it seems like. Atlas, Chopper, and Robin. Like they're gonna be doing all the sneaky shit, like Mr. Prince would usually do, or Sanji. They might come in clutch later on. I feel like this group is gonna come in clutch. Full-grown S-Snake is top 1. Could you imagine if Bonnie grows up to Seraphim, how OP they're gonna be? But then she'd probably end up using her fruit the same way Boa uses it, with attraction, right? Rather than like adoration or like adoring her. Edison, stay with me. So there's Nami. Brooke, hey, I'm off to go look for Vegapunk. What? Sanji? Where's Sanji? Yo. This man's durability is on another level. I don't like, bro, his durability is significantly better than Luffy's, it seems like. I know people think Gear 5 durability is better than Sanji's, but even I was thinking that for a bit. I go back and forth, but I don't know. When Sanji's durability works, it works. It works. Like I can count on one hand probably the characters that we've seen in the entire story with better durability than Sanji. And I don't think Luffy's one of them. I know it's probably a hot take, but I don't think so. So we have S-Shark punches Sanji right in the face, and Sanji tanks it, and S-Shark is shocked. He's like, huh? And Sanji, do you understand what the power of love means? All for Nami. All for Nami, brother. 4F building A. And now we got... Bro, how is this guy like dealing with S-Shark so easily, but then S-Snake is like one-shotting everybody that's coming her way, including like Frankie and Lilith. And then Zoro, Luffy are struggling. Zoro, Luffy, Lucci, and Kaku are struggling with S-Bear and S-Hawk. These Seraphim, they're not on the same level. There's no way. There's like a significant gaps between them. Huff. Damn it. Those flames are on there. Actually, S-Hawk is probably the strongest because he's got Luffy and Zoro and Lucci and Kaku struggling. And he had Blackbeard struggling. He had Blackbeard sweating. Don't forget it. Damn it. Those flames on their backs aren't going away, huh? Forget about the flames. The guy with the hawk's eyes. The guy with the hawk's eyes disappeared. Where in the world did he go? Looks like he changed the order of the killings. He probably wants to deal with the more troublesome ones later. He wants to eliminate the weaklings first. Who's saying that? Lucci? So Luffy notices him missing. Zoro's like, where did he go? And then Lucci looks like he's changed the order of the killings. He probably wants to deal with the more troublesome ones later. He wants to eliminate the weaklings first. So is S-Bear going to be enough for them then? In this case, they may be your friends. Taking them out first could shake the stronger ones. Yeah. Leave it up to me. I'll go after him. Zoro's gone. Hey. I was just about to say Kaku's probably going to go with him. And here comes Luffy. Hey, Usopp, go with him, please. He gets lost easily. What a pain in the ass, Kaku. Oh, he doesn't even care that he called him Usopp. Wait up, Roronoa. Bro, Luffy's a menace. Luffy is a savage when it comes to Zoro. Like, he's as dumb as Luffy is. This guy laughs in Zoro's face at how stupid he is. And he has every right to. He constantly does that. GR Max, what's up, bro? I see you. Don't worry, I see you. Sanji really said this is the power of love. He did. Yeah, I know, right? LOL. Zoro's slow. What's up, Muhammad? Kaku, this is hilarious, bro. I love the dynamic between CP0 and Zoro and Luffy. So Kaku goes with Zoro, Gamu Gamu, and who are you calling Usopp? Oh, there he is. There he says, and who are you calling Usopp? Hold on, what's this though? Oh, Luffy goes in with a Gatling. Hawk Gatling. Go away flames. Oh, he means like go away flames on Kuma's back. So Luffy's going off on S-Bear, and we got Lucci. Straw Hat, you idiot. Stop and think. We won't beat it just by throwing out attacks like that. Gatling is what beat you. Gatling is what beat Lucci, so I don't know why he's talking. And this is an advanced version. That was just Jet Gatling. This is Hawk Gatling. Imagine Luffy actually says that to him right now. Oh, shit. Here we go. This was the day before the famous... Okay, hold on. So it is a flashback. Okay, it is a flashback. So Bonnie's probably no longer on Egghead. I feel like she's already gone. This was the day before the famous Egghead incident. But this story began 3 months ago. The Holy Land, Mary Jorah, 3 months prior. I'm speaking from Egghead Island. Hold on. Let me cover up the page behind this. I don't want to see it. I have something I'd like to discuss with the higher-ups. I'm speaking from Egghead Island. Vegapunk. Or is it the guy that Vegapunk was talking to? Or is it the traitor? It's probably the traitor. I have something I'd like to discuss with the higher... It's the traitor. Yeah, it's the traitor. Dr. Vegapunk is investigating the contents of the Void Sentry. CP5 was dispatched in order to investigate the matter, but no evidence was found. Luffy looked smarter next to Zoro. Exactly, Muhammad. Exactly. Like, I remember, I think it was Water 7. It's so many times pre-time skip where Luffy's just like laughing in Zoro's face and he's like, "You're so dumb, bro." And of all people, Luffy saying that. But the thing is, he has every right to say that because as dumb as he is, Zoro's even dumber. Yo, what's up, Ringo? Kuma low-key damaged. Ringo, did you read it all? Join us right now. We're in page. I don't think it says what page, but we're in the part where we just see the Holy Land of Mary Jorah 3 months prior. So someone is saying, someone's talking to the higher-ups. Dr. Vegapunk is investigating contents of the Void Sentry. CP5 was dispatched in order to investigate the matter, but no evidence was found. Bro, who is this? They're building up the suspense so well. The ship that left Egghead mysteriously disappeared. For further investigation in an attempt to unravel the mystery, CP7 and CP8 followed. Hold on. The ship that left Egghead mysteriously disappeared. For further investigation in an attempt to unravel the mystery, CP7 and CP8 followed. So CP5 went missing. Then he sent 7 and 8 and they went missing as well. But none returned to the government. And we know where they are now. I'm speaking from Egghead. Please connect me to the higher-ups. So it's the traitor. I see Lucci in the corner. Hold on. Following the conversation between the 5 elders and a certain someone, it had become apparent that the genius scientist betrayed the government. The 5 elders decided to assassinate Dr. Vegapunk soon thereafter. Cypher Pole Aegis 0 received the mission and set sail. Okay, so if someone that's clearly able to record everything that Dr. Vegapunk is doing, everything he's researching, what he's planning, his next moves, but it's someone that Vegapunk himself does not recognize. And it's not just Estella, because they all share information at the end of every day, right? So none of the Vegapunks would recognize this person. But this person knows everything about Vegapunk. So it's almost like someone sneaking around, kind of like Caribou. I'm not saying it is Caribou, but like how Caribou sneaks around in arcs and like he hears information and shit. It's someone doing something like that, it seems like. Yo, you're live. Glad someone is. This chapter needs to be discussed. I'm ready to discuss all of it after we're done. Don't worry. We're going to have a proper discussion today. Yeah, it's a short chapter. Incredibly short. Really? Oh, damn. So I'm probably close to the end then. Whoa. Hold on. I scrolled way too far down. I saw a lot of recognizable faces and a lot of new faces. Oh, I kind of have to put the whole screen up. Okay, hold on. So we have St. J. Garcia, Saturn. However, this is just a narration, I guess. However, the 5 elders anticipated retaliation from Vegapunk. One of them decided to set sail with Kizaru as an escort, with requested reinforcements from various branches of the Navy. Yo, isn't this that guy in the Flame Emperor chapter? Remember the guy that was chilling with Kizaru and Sakazuki in the end of 1054? And we got proper introduction to his title and his name? Isn't this him? The guy in the top left corner of the screen? Or am I tripping? And then we got... This is I know who this is. This is that girl that was introduced in the beginning of Egghead. I don't remember her name, but she's with the Marines. What was her name? Wasn't she a vice admiral? I think she was a vice admiral. Shit, my memory's terrible. But these two, I don't recognize. And they're giving me... This guy with the long beard and the glasses is giving me some interesting vibes. I don't know. I'm a little bit iffy about him. He seems like he's a big deal. Anyways, with requested reinforcements from various branches of the Navy, war became looming on the horizon. However, what unexpectedly appeared was the ship of the Emperor of the Sea, Straw Hat Luffy. And no one saw that coming. I love the fact that Law, Kid, and Luffy basically like flipped a coin or drew straws to figure out where they were going, because they're all having Law and Kid are definitely having the biggest challenges of their life right now. Bigger than Wano. Easily bigger than Wano. Wano at least was a 2v1. Now they're going up against Shanks and Blackbeard in 1v1. Or crew versus crew. And Elbaf, Winter Island, Egghead. Any one of them could have landed on anyone, and their fates would have changed significantly. Every time I see something crazy go down, I just keep thinking of this. Dahl. Yes, Vice Admiral Dahl. It's not Black Horse, no, it's a new character. Vice Admiral Dahl. It's Vice Admiral Dahl. Yeah, Ringo and Muhammad are right. It's Vice Admiral Dahl. She was introduced in the beginning of Egghead. That same chapter where we got Helmeppo begging to get for help. Oh, hold on. I'm seeing too much here. This is getting interesting. With such an unforeseen development, the government steadily grew uneasy. Straw Hat's there, and we see Gear 5 Luffy. Not again. And we see another Gorsei member. For the record, if you guys haven't seen the video I uploaded today, I just want to put it out there. I do think that Gorsei member is going to go to Elbaf, because I don't think they're just going to send one Gorsei member after all this time they've been held back. I think one is going to go to Winter Island, one is going to go to Elbaf, and one is going to go to Egghead. Which makes it even more interesting, the fact that they drew straws and went to where they went to by luck. The outcome of the incident on the following day would give the entire world an unthinkable... Hold on. This is still 3 months prior, right? No, okay, because now Luffy arrives. However, the unexpected appearance of the ship of the Emperor of the Sea, Straw Hat Luffy. With such an unforeseen development, the government steadily grew uneasy. Straw Hat's there? Haha, not again. In any case, the outcome of the incident on the following day would give the entire world an unthinkable shock. What outcome of what incident? Or is this what we're about to get right now? Okay, so we're back to Shaka. Someone is walking up the stairs. The guy who just shot him. Hey, was this all you're doing? Hold on. Is there going to be a face? Let me see if there's going to be a face without looking. No, there's no face. There's no face. Answer me. I don't want to read the chat right now. I'm not reading the chat until I finish this chapter because I know it's about to end and I feel like the face reveal is coming right now. Shaka is shot. Point blank. Looks like through the eyeball. Answer me. And he's walking with the revolver. Walking. Hold on. That's a tall frame. That is a tall frame right there. Why are you? It's York. It's York. It's York. Hey Stella, it's me. I'm gonna be a celestial dragon. Hold on, I gotta zoom in. What are you on about, York? You've been to Mary Jorah in the past. Why do you want to be such a scummy human being? And she laughs. Oof. You are sounding just like Shaka now. But guess what? He's dead. Haha. It's really confusing, isn't it? With so many Vegapunks around. This world would be better off with only one of us. Her desire has been revealed. Chapter 1078 and no break next week. Let's go. So I never would have thought it'd be York because it feels like so at first it felt like it was going to be one of the Vegapunks. But throughout the recent chapters, it felt like they were straying away from that. And there were certain things happening that didn't match it being a Vegapunk. Like just last chapter, Vegapunk did not recognize the person. He said, "Who is that behind you?" Right? So I guess we were all overthinking it. Maybe he just didn't see the face. Maybe he just saw a figure behind Shaka. I'm talking about top left Marine. It's not Blackhurst. No, it's a new character. Oh, you're talking about the guy that I thought was the guy from 1054? Okay. Yeah, I wasn't too sure about it. I just thought it was. This is Banero of the New World. Banero Island? Like Blackbeard and Ace? Oh, like how they're talking about the events and how it's going to change everything. I have mixed emotions after reading the chapter. Same, bro, same. Luffy is giving them PTSD. Greed. How is Oda joining? How is Oda going to explain this? Vegapunk, who is that? He also has to explain Punk Records. Exactly. That's what I was going to say too, right before I started reading the chat. He has to explain Punk Records because at the end of every day, I think it was every day, right? At the end of every day, they all share like the information. So how do you go 3 months hiding information? How do you go 3 months hiding the fact that you're gathering information on Vegapunk behind all of their backs? It just doesn't make sense. Strange narrating, and looks like they skipped Kuma flashback. And anything they show us of it is already a flashback now. Like whatever we see of Bonnie seems to be a flashback. Like she's already seen everything in the current timeline. We now know greed is what causes celestial dragons to exist. What do you mean? Wait. What do you mean greed causes celestial dragons to exist? How do we know that? We know that York, out of selfishness and out of her own greed, did this because she wants to be a celestial dragon. But celestial dragons don't become celestial dragons like this. Not typically. Even if they let her be one, which she's not even a human, right? She's a robot at the end of the day. Celestial dragons are descendants of the allied nations that took over the allied countries that defeated the ancient kingdom. So unless you're a descendant of one of the 20 nations, or 19 I think, because Alabasta didn't count, Alabasta didn't go for it, then you're not going to be a celestial dragon. Like Doflamingo has more of a right to that title than she does, because like he technically is a celestial dragon. You're born a celestial dragon. It's not like a title. At least that's how I see it. It's not a title. Like obviously he doesn't get the benefits of it anymore, and he's not seen as one. But celestial dragons are born celestial dragons. I guess that's the point I'm trying to make. If we don't see Kuma flashback, I'm incredibly disappointed. Yeah, honestly, Kuma flashback was the main thing I was looking forward to in this arc. I love the whole arc. I love every chapter in this arc. Every chapter in this arc I've loved, but more than Kizaru, more than Luffy and Lucci, more than any of this shit, more than the traitor, I wanted to see Kuma's flashback, bro. I wanted to see Kuma's flashback. Especially when all of your knowledge is uploaded to Punk Records automatically. Exactly. It's not adding up. I'm hoping next chapter they explain some of it. Then the Allied nations were greedy. We don't know. So were the Allied nations greedy, or like we don't know anything about the Void Sentry right now. All we can do is speculate. I made a whole hour and 15-minute video on it. That's almost at 100K views, by the way. So guys, please go and watch that video if you haven't. Help me get it to 100K. Help me get this video. And it's a good video. It's probably the best video I've done on my channel. But I'm trying to get it to 100K because it's so close. And it covers all of the Void Sentry and like what I think happened in the Void Sentry and my theories about it and Joy Boy. So if you haven't watched that, please go ahead and check it out. But we don't know that the Allied nations were greedy. We don't even know if they were good or bad. We don't. Obviously, they were probably. But One Piece is interesting, right? In a sense where like every villain is they're not justified, but every villain has a strong reason for their actions. Even Orochi did. Even Orochi, right? Like it was unfair what they were doing to Orochi and all of the Kurozumi after the original one that killed the rest of the daimyo. Everyone else didn't deserve that. And even at the end of the arc, Hiroi's like the Kurozumi were born to burn. Like Wano is not black and white where the Kozuki are good and the Kurozumi are bad. No, because even Toki is a Kurozumi. Like Orochi wasn't justified in doing what he did, obviously, because the irony is he ended up doing the exact same thing that happened to him, taking out his anger on people that didn't deserve it because they were labeled on the enemy side. So we don't really know why the Allied nations turned on the Ancient Kingdom or erased the Ancient Kingdom. We don't know if the Ancient Kingdom were good, if they were bad. Were they abusive? Were they abusing people? We don't know any of that, right? So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see, because what I'm looking forward to the most, the flashbacks that I'm looking forward to the most are kids, but we're not going to get it now, so scratch that. But the number one flashback is Blackbeard and then the Void Sentry. I just want those two. Give me Blackbeard and Void Sentry because I know where we are right now in the story. We're not going to get much more. Otama, sorry, did I say Toki? I think I said Toki, right? Otama. Could it have something to do with erasing memories? I mean, Kuma isn't there though. Kuma is the one that can absorb memories, right? With his paw fruit. So I don't see how it can have something to do with erasing memories. Like, is that how they didn't, like how the other Vegapunks didn't catch on to what York was up to? Why Luffy and Zoro not using Haki? It's really annoying. It's just to slow down the process. It's that's how it goes sometimes, right? Like, it's nothing new. Oda wants to keep Oda wants to keep them there right now so he can progress the story in other scenes, other areas. Like with Vegapunk. If Luffy was dead serious right now, he would be solving problems left and right, and then there wouldn't be that sense of danger in Egghead. Like, Luffy would just be wiping everyone clean. What do you think is going to happen concerning the incident? Strange how we had a time jump, honestly. Yeah, it was a little bit strange, but when we cut to Kuma, I expected it because Kuma's flashback, we basically finished that in the current timeline. We saw when she was with Vegapunk and she already decided that she was going to go and look at it. And then even when we saw a glimpse of his flashback, I took that as that was a flashback of Bonnie. That wasn't her in that current timeline. That was her like a couple hours ago, or something like that, right? Because it had been a couple of chapters, and we've seen a lot of stuff progress with everyone else before we jump back to Bonnie and saw her looking at Kuma's flashback and seeing him as a kid. So that whole thing is already sketchy. But I have a theory video I want to make. I haven't made it yet, and I'm trying to find the time to, on where I think that's going and what I think Bonnie is doing, because I have a good theory about that. Can someone explain the Sunny panel? Looks like narrator is going from past to future, showing Gear 5 Luffy ready to fight. Or is the Sunny empty and I'm tripping? No, it seems like he started from 3 months ago with York giving them the information, and then the more he talks, time is going by, and then the Straw Hats arrive. So that's right now, obviously, because I don't even think a day has passed. Maybe a day has passed at the most, 2 days since they arrived. So when we see this is them coming. This is like basically the beginning of the Egghead arc. And then we see Akainu, Gear 5 Luffy, and the Gorosei. I think that's just them picturing Luffy. Or that could also be Akainu realizing that Luffy's there, and he's saying Straw Hat's there, and at the same time showing us Luffy what he was doing in the moment Akainu realized he was there, and he was in Gear 5 fighting Lucci and laughing, and that's what we're seeing. So I think that picture of Luffy is probably him fighting Lucci, and it's just like that was what he was doing when Akainu was saying that, like, Straw Hat's there, not again. And then we see the Gorosei pissed off. But here, this panel is the most confusing panel to me of the whole chapter. The one right beneath it. The outcome of the incident on the following day. So it seems like now they're talking about the future to get us hyped. Like, this didn't happen yet. But basically they're telling us Egghead arc is going to end in 1 day, in One Piece time. And the outcome of the incident is would give the entire world an unthinkable shock. So they're letting us know before we see it so that we get hyped. That's how I take it. I'm a little bit disappointed at it being York. A little bit. Hold on. York might not be justified in her actions. She's a greedy part of the Vegapunk brain. Oh yeah, she is a greedy part, isn't she? Yeah. But if it was gonna be a Vegapunk, I would think it would be the thinker, and the thinker is Pythagoras, right? Like, I would think thinker over greed. But greed definitely makes sense too. The Sunny panel was a flashback to when the Sunny was heading to Egghead. Yeah, to be honest, even though they're trying to make Vegapunk look like a good guy, he really isn't. He literally was torturing Albert and created the Seraphim freaks. But we don't know. That's the thing. There's no context behind any of this. Like, flashbacks in One Piece change context to a lot of things. Even Kaido, we saw like 2.5 pages of his flashback, and it changed context to Kaido. It really did. Like, we saw Kaido a little bit differently. Doflamingo, his flashback. So we don't really know. Yeah, I am ready on Captain Wid. You're waiting on Captain Kid dying? Because that's where it's going. It's going to be a good death scene, though. Definitely going to be a good death scene. Kid got SBS. He is so sad. Oh, you're talking about the flashback when I said I wanted to see Kid's flashback. Yo, I just found out not that long ago when the Zoro SBS came out that Kid had a flashback in an SBS. I didn't know that. And this whole time I was waiting for his flashback. Everything about Kid is just so, like, it's so sad because from his very first introduction, I really liked Kid's character. I know most people like Law. I liked Kid, and that's why I'm like, I don't want to say I talk negatively about him. It comes from me always liking him and having high expectations for him. And then Wano just killed all of it. In terms of his character, now I'm finding out they skipped his flashback. Him deciding to fight Big Mom when Kaido is the one he has personal beef with because Luffy's the main character didn't make any sense. Narrator at the end of that chapter got me hyped. Hawk getting his hockey. Yeah, the narrator got my hype as well. Yo, so why did he draw laughs on the Sunny panel? Looked like Luffy's on the ship laughing. Let me see. Well, that could just be Luffy having fun, because look at what the narrator says. However, what unexpectedly appeared was the ship of the Emperors of the Sea, Straw Hat Luffy. So this is when they came. The narrator is flat out saying this is when they came. It's not when they're leaving. Are we going to see Luffy's fleet show up and they beat up all the Marines? Luffy defeats Kizaru, and for the first time, the world government takes their first major L. I don't think Kizaru, I said earlier in a different live reaction, I don't think Kizaru is going to go down in this arc. It's too small of an arc for an admiral to lose clean for the first time in the series, right? Like on screen to a protagonist. So it's also too small of an arc, in my opinion, to pull out the Straw Hat Fleet card just yet. I think the Grand Fleet might come in Elbaf. Maybe Elbaf, or maybe Endgame. Most likely Endgame, but potentially Elbaf. But it depends. One Piece is pretty unpredictable right now for the most part. I can't lie. Call back from Enies Lobby to the Straw Hats versus the world government. Yep. I hope Saturn isn't a fraud. That would break my heart. Kaido flashback. Goda didn't need to do Kaido like that. You know what I mean? Yeah. He didn't. But at the same time, I don't know. Like, yeah, I get why you can't show so much of his flashback because of God Valley, but 2.5 pages or 3 pages? Come on. Killer, one of my favorite characters. Better character than his captain. Yeah, I agree. Sadly, I do. I think Kid lacks of characterization in Wano just shows that Wano wasn't meant to be his arc, and I kind of understand and was mad about it at first, but I'm going to just let it play out now. It's not the thing about One Piece post-time skip. The difference between One Piece post-time skip and pre-time skip is pre-time skip. You could focus on so many characters at once. Like, a lot of characters can be focused on at once. Like Skypiea. Think of Skypiea. Luffy's the main character. We get Luffy's character progression, but how many other characters in Skypiea, right? We had Usopp with the stuff with Mary and the spirit. We had Zoro. We had Sanji. We had Nami towards the end. She was focused on heavily. We had the guy down. He was a huge what's his name? Mont Blanc Cricket. He was focused on heavily. Like you can focus on all these characters together, and when you put them all together, it makes a great story. Now I feel like unless you're the absolute center of attention of that arc, Oda doesn't care. And that's why I said in my last, I think it was my last live stream. Yeah, the SBS live stream. I'm like, why does everyone care if Chopper was seen figuring out that he can't fix Miles? It's not like we have seen any sort of characterization or character development from guys like Chopper and Nami at all post time skip. Like, it seems like Oda gave up on them as characters ever since the time skip, and I gave up on them. So I don't care. Personally, I don't care to see Chopper realize that there's something he can't cure, because it's like he's gone on hiatus for 12 years, and then it's like, oh, okay, let's put a couple pages to show that he's still a character, and then get back to him just not being a character and being a mascot. Like, it seems like now, unless you're like the top 2 or 3 focused on characters in an arc, not only are you not focused on, but if it benefits the story otherwise, Oda is willing to make you do things that's completely out of character. Like Kaido or Kid going after Big Mom. To me, it makes no sense. He has more beef with Kaido than anyone. I get Luffy was doing it for the people of Wano, but Kid was personal. Kaido messed him up. Right? Kaido completely messed him up. And it's not even that Kaido messed him up. The reason it's so personal for Kid, and the reason he has more motivation than Luffy and everything that Luffy has seen with Kinemon and all the people in Wano, is because of what Kaido did to Killer. Straight up. What Kaido did to Killer. And Killer is going to be like that forever. And probably the best character thing that we've seen from Kid in the whole story is seeing him realize that Kamazo was Killer, and the pain that he had when he realized that. That's the best character development Kid has had in the whole story. And then to think he's going to drop that and be like, let me go fight Big Mom. Now, you can say, I've never seen him make this argument, but you could say maybe he realized he wasn't strong enough to beat Kaido and that Luffy is on a different level, even though he left prior to Advance Conquerors Hockey Luffy. But you can make that argument. I would still say no, because Kid is not that kind of guy. Kid and Luffy and Zoro are different than Law and Killer. Those three are like, there's no stopping them mentally. There's no stopping them. If they want to do... He fought Kaido. When Hawkins and Apu backed down, he straight up knew him and Killer have no chance against Kaido, but we're not backing down. We're going to fight. So what sense does it make for him to go fight Big Mom? And then Kaido did a lot of things that were out of character. Well, Kaido did some things. Big Mom did a lot of things that were out of character in Wano. Luffy, basically, unless you were Luffy or Zoro, you did a lot of things that were out of character in Wano. Kaido flashback. I read that. I think Luffy's gonna punch Saturn. I think Luffy's gonna punch Saturn in the face. Throwback to Sabaody. Yeah, the Wano thing with Kid was kind of a weird. It was. Grand Fleet will be versus Blackbeard probably. No, I think Blackbeard has to be Straw Hats versus Blackbeard Pirates because that's special. Unless Blackbeard brings a fleet of his own, then the Grand Fleet shows up to back up the Straw Hats. But if it's just a Blackbeard Pirates, it's got to be an even amount of number of characters. Blackbeard Pirates versus Straw Hat Pirates. We haven't seen a good divide like that since Enies Lobby and Alabasta, since those two arcs. Pretty much those are the only two times we've seen it in the story. Wano, it was kind of like that, but not really, because Wano was too much of a mess. Grand Fleet coming in final war. We're going to see Luffy standing in front of all the allies they made throughout the series, facing down the world government. Yeah. People overlook, like, Luffy. I don't want to get too into it, because that theory video that I put up there. Go and watch that. I think that scene where Mihawk and Marineford says Luffy has the strongest ability in the world. He's something along the lines of, like, he has the real strongest ability, and the fact that he can connect people. That has a lot of ties to the end of the series, in my opinion, and what it means for One Piece. I think it has a lot to do with it. I think it has a lot to do with Luffy's dream, too. The dream that we don't know. I love Killer so much it almost makes up for Kid being trash. Oda gave up on almost all Straw Hats, to be honest, except Sanji and a little bit of Zoro. Exactly, Matt. Exactly. Do you think Elbaf will be Usopp's arc, or do you think it's going to be... That's cool. I would have said 100,000% it was going to be Usopp's arc, but now... Post-break Oda, post-1053 or 1052, whatever it was, is a whole different guy. It's a different ball game now, guys. It's a different ball game. Unless it is absolutely needed in the story, it's going in the trash. That's the type of One Piece we're getting now, which has its ups and its downs. But overall, I'm not going to complain. I'm not, because I don't want to say I would rather skip important shit, but I can't go through Wano again. 4.5 years. Think about how long we've been in the past 3 arcs. Wano, Whole Cake, and Dressrosa. I wasn't even reading One Piece back then. I started reading One Piece, the manga, after I caught up to the anime in early Whole Cake Island. And it's been like, I've been reading One Piece since early 2016. So, 7 years. More than 7 years now. It probably would have been like January 2016. So more than 7 years I spent on 2 arcs and now half of Egghead. So 2.5 arcs. In 7 years. I don't think we need that anymore. Like, that's one of the biggest problems that people have with post-time skip. You're investing too much into these arcs. Just go back to, like, pre-time skip, where, like, you're getting the important stuff in, but you're getting the adventure. Because I care about the adventure. I'm not going to lie to you guys. Honestly, I'm upset about Usopp lack of development. He used to be my top 5 favorites. Usopp and Nami both. The original 5 Straw Hats, aside from Shanks and Mihawk, very early on in the story, used to be my 5 favorite characters in the story. As, like, cliche as that sounds, I loved all 5 of them for different reasons. Because they gave us, each of them in their arcs, like Arlong Park for Nami, Syrup Village for Usopp, Baratu Ye for Sanji, all highlighted very different and unique characteristics about them that made them stand out from the rest of the crew, which is why they were such a great crew. And then, after the time skip, Nami fell off. Usopp fell off. And Sanji got a lot of the focus. A lot. So Sanji fans were eating good all post-time skip. Kid didn't even get the one with Big Mom, LOL. We don't know which sweet commander he beat. Nah, Kid didn't realize he wasn't the main character. His ego's too big. Exactly, Cosmos. Exactly. There's no way Kid realized he was a side character in that moment. No, he didn't realize he was a side character. He has too big of an ego to ever stop and realize that he's a side character. Feels like Oda changed his mind mid-arc about Kid's role in Wano. I think, Almighty Lambo, I think Oda changed his mind mid-arc about a lot of things. And that's why the end of Wano is so much different than the beginning of Wano. And everyone's just like, wait, hold on, what the fuck happened? Because a lot of things that, like him setting up the stuff with Zoro and then just not doing it. I think towards the very end of Wano, perhaps like since 1044, he just dropped. He was like, you know what? I gotta rush through this, take a break, and then I gotta change the way I write One Piece. I gotta write it way more condensed now, straight to the point, and every page has to matter. But you can tell. You can very clearly tell. I haven't reread Wano yet, but if you do, I'm pretty sure if you read Act 1, you can tell Oda is setting up for a lot of things. He's having fun. He's like, I don't care if this arc takes 5, 6, 7 years. Or maybe he just didn't know it was going to go that far. He thought he could squeeze so much in a small time. And by 3.5, 4 years in, he realized, yo, this arc is now almost 4.5 years long. And I still got to finish Luffy versus Kaido. So he was like, you know what? Let me cut out a lot of the stuff. Let me cut out some of the fights. Let me cut out some of the important stuff. Let me cut out Zoro and what the hell was going on with Ushimaru. Like, for example, the boss Hyogoro perfectly foreshadowed Gear 5 in the beginning of the raid. But he also, wasn't it him who also said Zoro looks a lot like Ushimaru? Why is it that Luffy's came full circle but not Zoro's? I think Zoro's was meant to come full circle. Again, this is just my speculation. I'm not saying I know this. This is just my speculation. I could be dead wrong. But I think he had these things planned, but it's like, you know what? I can't now. Luffy's the main character. He's going to get his shit. I'm going to focus on Luffy versus Kaido and end this. Zoro is not that important right now. We will come back to that in an SBS. And we're just going to drop it out of nowhere on everyone. And that's what happened. But I definitely think he was planning it because Hyogoro foreshadowed Zoro and Gear 5 Luffy both the same way, where he looks at them and say they resemble something. And Luffy's, we got a full context and explanation in Wano, and Zoro's we didn't, and we got it in an SBS, which shows, like, not desperation, but like, I need to get this out there, but I can't do it in the story. Had Oda dropped it in the story later on in a different arc, then I'd be like, okay, maybe Oda wasn't actually planning it for Wano. But the fact that he dropped it in an SBS, I think he was originally planning it for Wano. Saturn isn't a fraud, y'all. I promise. Ringo says, disagree. I see the Straw Hats starting the big war right now. The world government might lose because Luffy gets to the One Piece. The build-up for Blackbeard is too strong for him to not be in the final antagonist. Cosmo says, I have Oda in my closet. Devioid says, I gotta read through these. I'm way behind. I low-key like Kid Ego. To be fair, he never runs down a fate. Even deep down, he knows he would lose. Yeah. Kid is like Luffy. He's a lot like Luffy. He's always gonna be there to fight. Now I'd say Brooke and Robin got some good character moments post time skip. Yeah. That's what I said last. That's what I said in my last stream too. I said the Straw Hats have gotten focus are Luffy, Sanji, Brooke, and Robin, and Jinbei. That's exactly what I said. If you're not Luffy, Zoro, Sanji, Brooke, Robin, or Jinbei, you did not get much character development at all. And Nami and Chopper specifically, I would say got 0 or next to 0 character development. Chopper, I think, got 0. I think Chopper honestly got 0 character development whatsoever post time skip. Nami, I can think of the one moment with Ulti where she's like, it shows that she's finally brave enough that even if she's facing death itself, she's so confident in Luffy. Because Nami especially, her confidence in Luffy has built over time. Because she wasn't really a Straw Hat until Arlong Park, and she witnessed what Luffy was able to do against Arlong. Even though she was with Luffy the longest, aside from Zoro, she was with him a very long time. Her loyalty came after Usopp, after Sanji, and she slowly built a strong confidence in Luffy. And there's two things, actually. There's another thing about not Nami. There's two big things about Nami that was really good in Wano. The fact that in the face of death against Ulti, she still said Luffy's going to be Pirate King, even if it meant she was going to die in that spot, which shows how much she believes in Luffy. And then number 2, which also shows how bad Chopper still is, when Luffy died against Kaido, we see the reaction of 2 Straw Hats. We see Chopper crying and giving up and saying Luffy's dead and actually thinking Luffy's dead. And then we see everyone else thinking Luffy's dead. Like, Law and Kid start to get up thinking they're going to have to fight. And pretty much everyone else that isn't a Straw Hat gives up. We see them like losing hope, losing faith. And then who is it that stands up and says, no, Luffy is going to come back. There's no way Luffy is dead. That's the guy that's going to be Pirate King. It's Nami. That's almost a Zoro moment right there, especially because she's weak. And she said it in front of Kaido. So she said it in front of Ulti, and then she says it in front of Kaido when everyone else, including fellow Straw Hat members, were giving up and were losing faith and thought Luffy was dead. Nami was there, and then she's lucky Marco was there to save her. So I will give Nami those 2 moments. Huge moments for her in Wano and post time skip. But aside from those 2, what character development did Nami have? I mean, her coming to a place where she can forgive Jinbei in Fishman Island, shows that she's now accepted everything that's happened to herself, to Nojiko, the death of Bellamere, the suffering that people in Arlong Park had for so long. She's come to like put it behind her now in the past, and she can see a fishman that had something to do with it and not necessarily have hatred towards them. But didn't that already happen with Hachi and Sabaody? Right? Wasn't Hachi more of a... Jinbei directly caused it. Jinbei indirectly was a reason Arlong was the way he was, kind of. But Hachi was there with Arlong, backing him up, doing all that, and she was able to forgive Hachi. Anyways, that's my rant on Nami. So I will give Nami some credit. I forgot about that moment when Luffy died. Let me read the recent ones. I can't read all these. The pace was definitely sped up more gradually than mid-Wano. Honestly, this may be a hot take, but I like this new narration and pace in the story. Wish it was like this for most of the story. LOL. I agree, Matt. I agree. But at the same time, I'm okay. Let Dressrosa be Dressrosa. Let Whole Cake be Whole Cake. Let Wano be Wano. But that's it. That's enough. Those 3 arcs are enough. We don't need 100+ chapter arcs anymore. Like, that's it. Let's get to the end of let's get through arcs like this, and then let's get to Elbaf in, I don't know, 50, 60 chapters. And then let's get to Raft Hill, and then maybe the Final War. Final War is probably going to be like think of Naruto, how long the Final War was there. Final War in One Piece is probably going to be like 3 years, but let's not even think about that yet. I'm excited for that. Like, that one I want to take a long time because it's the end, right? Chopper had Punk Hazard and a few cool moments. Hoki. Yes, okay, Chopper did have Punk Hazard. I forgot about that. But only a few. I don't think Chopper had any good Whole Cake Island moments. I think the MVP of Whole Cake was Brook. Easily. I feel like every arc has a Straw Hat MVP, at least the way I see it. Where even if they're a smaller Straw Hat and they don't get as many moments, all of their moments are fantastic. Where I would say Brook was clearly the MVP of Whole Cake, and I would say Frankie was clearly the MVP of Dressrosa. Frankie had some amazing moments in Dressrosa. Frankie was my favorite character in the Dressrosa arc, by far. Everything, from Luffy offering him the Maramara and him turning it down, to him on the Den Mushi outside Luffy was in the Coliseum, and he's on the Den Mushi with Luffy. He's like, look, don't tell me no, I can't. Like, you're my captain, but I'm gonna do this. Like, I have to do this, even if I have to disobey you. Where he's like, he explains to Luffy everything that the Tontatas were going through and everything, all the toys and all that stuff. And he's like, Luffy, I have to do this. And Luffy's just like, you do you, bro. You're free. Go do what you want to do. And he's like, thank you. One of the best moments in Dressrosa. And then, aside from Luffy versus Katakuri and Luffy versus Lucci, for me personally, Frankie versus Senor Pink is the third best fight in One Piece, easily. The dialogue, the flashback, the fights, the suplexes, it was amazing. The respect that they had, the character development for both characters mid-fight, the respect that Frankie has walking away at the end of the fight, and Senor Pink is just like this, down on the ground. It's so good. I don't know why that fight is not talked about more. And then you have like Enies Lobby. I would say Sanji was clearly the MVP of Enies Lobby. Water 7 Usopp was from a character standpoint. Every arc has like a character. Skypia's Nami, I would say. Like, they all have a character that's a little bit, they're a little bit more boosted up than they would be otherwise. Thriller Bark, obviously Zoro, nothing happened. The more I think about it, I'm realizing that actually every Straw Hat get development post time skip, but we just wish we got it every arc. Well, that's why I wish that arcs were shorter, so that we can get more of the Straw Hats being together. Because when arcs are 4 or 5 years long, then you can get years without seeing certain Straw Hats interact with each other. Like, when we saw, during the raid, when we saw all of the Straw Hats together, that famous panel with Luffy like this, and all the Straw Hats behind him, that was the first time we saw the Straw Hats collectively in, I think, like, a decade. Like, since the beginning of Dressrosa. I don't like that. That I don't like, because for me, the bread and butter of One Piece, what made me fall in love with it, what makes it so good, is the dynamic between all the Straw Hats, especially on the ship, all the goofing around and all that stuff. I miss that so much. In my dreams, the final saga is 400 chapters. You never know, Cosmos. Frankie a chill dude. Frankie is one of my favorite Straw Hats. But probably, no. Chopper is definitely a Straw Hat with the least love. But it's Oda's fault, lol. Yeah. And Chopper had a great start with Drum Island. Chopper had a great start. I wasn't always like, did not care about Chopper. No. It's mostly post-time skip. I'm also personally not a fan of Chopper's design post-time skip. But I don't want to make this a Chopper hate video. Just know, I don't feel too good about Chopper. Senor Pink versus Frankie made Frankie post-time skip, hoping he gets a moment that good in Egghead. To be honest, I don't think Frankie's going to get a moment that good ever again. It's just, there's so many guys to focus on, right? Not just the Straw Hats, but the Alliance members, the Laws, the kids. Is Frankie going to get that kind of focus again now? I don't know. Soji King was Enies Lobby MVP. What you mean? I would say it's Sanji. I mean, even towards the end of Water 7 and then Enies Lobby, I would say it's definitely Sanji. When he went into like his Mr. Prince mode again and he snuck on the train and he was going through each cabin doing what he's got to do, fighting Wanzi, meeting up with Soji King, meeting up with Frankie, fighting Frankie for a bit, and then fighting the CP9 guys, and then getting on the Den Mushi and letting the rest of the Straw Hats know what's up, keeping them updated, reuniting with them, going to fight what's her name, Khalifa in Enies Lobby, realizing that's not it for him because he's Sanji, of course, coming in clutch, and probably my favorite moment, it is my favorite moment in Enies Lobby, when he comes in clutch and saves Usopp, and he's just like, he lights up the cigarette, and you see even Zoro smile just to know that he's there, and then Jabba's like, who are you? And he's like, I'm the hunter. Like people that love Sanji as like their favorite character, I get it. Sanji honestly has a lot of the most badass moments in One Piece. He has a lot of them. Sanji and Zoro, of course. And then not to mention the fact that he's the one that opened up the gates for them, right? At the end. No one even knew until the very end. Like, Sanji was clearly, I don't even think it's an argument. Sanji was clearly the MVP of Enies Lobby. Comes in to save Usopp, and then he practically low diffs Jabra. And we see Diablo Jambi for the first time. Soji King was Enies Lobby MVP. I read that. Arcs would have to be longer if we wanted more Straw Hats, not shorter. No, because if arcs are shorter, then we get more time in between arcs. And the Straw Hats get their time in between arcs. Other characters get their time in arcs, right? Like, Wano's going to be more about the Scabbards, Law, Toki, the victims of Wano, the Wano citizens, Kaido, the enemies, right? Oden, his flashback. But when we're in between arcs, we're going to see the Straw Hats and their dynamic. And I know that's not much, but at least we get that, right? And then if we get smaller arcs, we can definitely focus more on Straw Hats, I think. But if we get big arcs, Oda's too focused on building up the story on what happened on the island, who suffered, who caused the suffering, who died in the past that's leading to like the domino effect that it is where it is today, how Luffy's got to save it. It's just too much. And then the enemy has like 1,000 subordinates. It's too much. Oda deciding to change Chopper's character was bizarre, and I heard he decided to do it after he heard the voice of the voice actor. Really? Huh, interesting. I never knew that. I mean, it's not a big change in Chopper to begin with, but it's just, I feel like it's a clear merch thing. Chopper has been reduced to merchandise. I said a mascot in my last video, but it's merchandise. I think Oda did that because he realized how popular Chopper was for merchandise, and he's like, let me just turn him into like a cute plushie doll, and then let's just go from there. Forget about them gates. You got me. Yeah. You forgot about them gates, didn't you? Almighty? Sanji came in clutch, man. There's even more stuff than that I'm forgetting right now. Sanji is more cool. Zoro is more badass, like ice and fire. Yes, 100%. Sanji is more cool. Zoro is more badass. There's a difference. Like, that moment where he's like, I'm the hunter, that's cool. The moment where he's like, thanks, I needed a light, that's cool. But nothing happened, that's badass. Chopper was cool as a freak. Unfortunately, he went from monster to merchandise. I would have loved to see Chopper of the 7 transformations become Chopper of the 7 awakenings. That would be amazing. Yeah, I remember the feeling. I still remember the feeling today. The first time I saw Chopper eat the Rumble Ball and go monster mode in Enies Lobby. And it was like, yo, did Chopper just become the most dangerous Straw Hat? Because he was dangerous. He wasn't the strongest, but he was dangerous because it was hyped up. Like, he was like, yo, if I do this, I'm gonna lose control, and if I bump into Straw Hat, I might even destroy them. But if I do this, I'm gonna wreck this guy. I 100% win this fight. It was kind of like Naruto early on in the series, and early on in the series of Naruto, and how hype it was that they were making it out to be if he used a little bit of his QB mode, right? Like, even just a little bit, he became reckless. Whereas, like, even if you're an ally, you don't want to be next to him. You don't want to be near him. And then, just like Naruto and just like Chopper, as time goes by, it gets more normal. And then before you know it, they're using it all the time. But Chopper used to be great. Chopper, Enies Lobby, the reason I love Enies Lobby is the reason I love Marineford is because of Marineford and how epic it was. But the reason I love Enies Lobby is because of the Straw Hats and how it focused on every Straw Hat. Like, what Straw Hat didn't get great moments in Enies Lobby? Nami at the end of Water 7 when she's giving that speech to Luffy about Robin and Robin's true intentions and how they have to go and save her. And Luffy's stuck in the wall listening. The stuff with Usopp, Chopper, Usopp, Nami, and Luffy in the very beginning of the series. And Nami, and she's like, I love the part where they're all going to, they're standing on top of Usopp's body, and they're like, yo, these people just fucked up Usopp, and they're going to fuck them up. And then we cut to Nami, and she's like, yo, go and fuck them up. She's on the ship, but she's like, go and fuck them up. That was good because it shows how tight all the Straw Hats are. I miss that. I miss seeing how tight all the Straw Hats are, where if you hurt one of them, they're all going to be pissed. One of the good things that I was scared about was how Oda would make Jinbei mix into the Straw Hat crew. Thought it would feel off, but it worked rather quickly. I agree, Lambo. I agree with that. I thought, because Jinbei, he used to be a little bit more menacing, and obviously he's a former warlord, and his character is just, we never used to see jokes from Jinbei before he joined the Straw Hat, but when he joined the Straw Hat, I think Nami was the perfect character to open up Jinbei and bring out that Straw Hat in Jinbei, because now he's a Straw Hat. Him interacting with Nami and like Nami getting angry and he's like, whoa, is that Conqueror's Haki? That's an easy way to get Jinbei to fit in well with the Straw Hat dynamic. But I agree, I didn't think he was going to fit in as well as he did. No upgrade after Monster Point is weird for sure. He could, I think it was less to do with the characters. I think it has less to do with the characters themselves and more with the new characters being introduced. All the Straw Hats aren't even main characters in recent arcs. That's exactly what I mean. One Piece. Shout out One Piece. He's fighting a second commander with Monster Point. So that's not to downplay Monster Point. I don't want to say it. Nah, I'm going to say it. He's fighting Queen though. Come on. He's fighting Queen. Queen is strong, but Queen is incredibly incompetent. Just like Big Mom. It's like saying Jinbei was fighting Big Mom, so Jinbei has to be close to Yonko level. No. Robin clowned Big Mom. Jinbei clowned Big Mom. Frankie clowned Big Mom. Chopper clowned Big Mom. Brook double, triple, quadruple clowned Big Mom in multiple arcs, right? Like if you're not Chopper, Big Mom and Queen are incredibly strong but incredibly incompetent characters. So anyone can clown them for a small amount of time. But if Queen and Chopper really fought, Chopper is dead. So what do I think is going to happen from here? Let me discuss this. Because now we see it's York. After all this time, it's York. And Vegapunk is surprised. And she says, I'm going to be a celestial dragon. And he says she's been to Mary Joel before. So hold on. Let me go back to when we first see them communicating to the Gorosei. The Holy Land Mary Joel, 3 months prior. I'm speaking from Egghead Island. I have something I'd like to discuss with the higher-ups. Dr. Vegapunk is investigating the contents of the Void Sentry. So it was the Void Sentry that it's always the Void Sentry. The Void Sentry is the trigger. That's what always causes them to want to wipe someone out. And York Greed is the one that picked up on this, or is the one that betrayed them and let the world government know so that they can become a celestial dragon. But why? Why does York want to be a celestial dragon? York is not even a human. York is a creation of the Stella Vegapunk. So I don't know. I don't even want to. I'll be honest with you guys. I don't even want to predict where Egghead is gonna go from here, because I'm having so much fun with it. I just want to let it go. I just want to let it flow, and read it week to week. But even if I did make predictions and they didn't come true, I wouldn't be disappointed at all. I don't care. I just make predictions because it's interesting for discussion and it's interesting for content, right? And it leads up to discussions where you can now discuss things back and forth. I'm more so interested in stuff outside of Egghead, like the video I made today about where Shanks versus Kid is gonna go from here, and where Blackbeard versus Law, especially Blackbeard versus Law, because there's so many variables to that one. That one is just pure chaos. That one is Banana Island, pretty much, where it's like the events there are gonna change the world. But then again, so is the events of Shanks versus Kid, and so is the events of Egghead Island. And I think with Garp coming to Winter Island, and he has Kobe, he has Pudding. Pudding hinted at Big Mom. It was kind of a hint at Big Mom coming, but I think Katakuri and Oven will come. And then if you do have a Gorosei member come, who knows? And then with Shanks, you have Shanks and Kid. You have the people of Elbaf. If you have a Gorosei member come there, or another strong member come there, all three of these islands between Egghead, Winter Island, and Elbaf all have a lot of variables. It's not just one-on-one. It's like 5-6 different variables, right? Like Egghead, we have Luffy, we have CP0, we have Sentomaru, not really sure where he is right now. Seems like he's joining Luffy's crew. We have Vegapunk and his Vegapunk army with Stussy that's completely loyal to him. We have the Seraphim, who we don't really know who they're loyal to right now, or who's giving them orders. Seems like Atlas, but Seraphim can change at any moment. And then we have Kizaru and St. J. Garcia Saturn coming. So there's so many variables to all three of these islands where anything can happen. So I enjoy making predictions about the other two, but because we're actually seeing Egghead on a weekly basis, I want to witness it unfold without going too far into predictions for it. But the other two, I don't think we're going to see. I don't think we're going to see a single second of Shanks versus Kid. I think we're just going to see the end of it. Like, Shanks already beats him, or if someone interferes, we're going to see them interfering, or we're going to hear about it in the newspapers. And then I definitely think we're just going to hear about Winter Island. I don't think we're going to see a single glimpse of Winter Island again. We're just going to hear Garp did this, Blackbeard did this happened to Kobe, this happened to Law, bada boom, bada bing. That's it. Same way we just heard that Blackbeard kidnapped Kobe. Zoro and Luffy ain't incompetent while fighting, though. Well, Zoro and Luffy, they're not incompetent, but right now they're dragging out the fight too, right? But Zoro and Luffy are not incompetent at all. Would you rather the Law, Blackbeard, Kid, and Shanks get off screened and revisited so we can blow through Egghead, or do some cutbacks and take a bit longer to get to the Elbaf? I don't think it's a matter of rather. What I would definitely rather see a little bit of those fights at least. I mean, no, if you're talking about purely what I'd rather see the whole fight for Law and Blackbeard and Kid versus Shanks. But the story is going to be dragged out if that happens, and it as much as I hate to say it, it's unnecessary. Winter Island. Is it Winter Island or is it Winter Island? I think it's Winter Island, yeah. Anyways, I lost my train of thought. If we see them, it's going to hold back the story, because as much as I hate to say it, it is unnecessary to show all of those fights. And Oda's on a whole different, he's in a whole different mindset right now, so I don't think he's going to show any of it. The way I see Law and Blackbeard's, the Law and Blackbeard one is the exact same way as Blackbeard and Ace and Banana Island. It's like, show us them meeting up so we get context on how this came to be. Show us Ace/Law getting some good hits and getting some good licks in on Blackbeard, obviously because of Blackbeard's Devil Fruit and his natural weak durability, right? But I think they show us that so that we get the illusion that it's going to be a fight and that it's going to be a good fight, and then we cut off screen, and just like Ace, I think Ace got mid-diffed. It's just once Blackbeard, because Blackbeard has good endurance, but he probably has the worst durability in the series because of his fruit naturally. So he was taking Ace's hits in the beginning, but once once he took them and he was serious, he got up and I think he like mid-diffed Ace, and we didn't. That's why we don't need to see it, because we know, okay, now the real fight happens. Now that you saw that they can go back and forth, now the real fight happens, and then boom, Ace is captured. I think it's the same thing with Law, where we're now Oda's trying to get us hyped and thinking that Law has a chance, but guys, it's Blackbeard. Do not fall for the same thing twice. Do not fall for Ace and Banana Island twice. It's Yonko Blackbeard. Law is done. You can make whatever argument you want for Kid, because Shanks might have some mercy. Shanks, I don't know. That situation might be a little bit different because Kid is not Law as well. Kid can't take an L as hard as Law can take it, because Law can take it and move on. His character is in a position to do that, whereas Kid isn't. So Law is taking a fat L. 100%. Law is taking an L, guys. Where are we at now? We're done. We already finished the chapter. Right now, we're just discussing it, Jam. What's up? What's up, JM93 and Jam IM? Welcome to the stream, guys. So we finished 1078. We discussed it. We got a little bit off topic talking about some other stuff, but that's what we're here for. We're just here to discuss One Piece. But what did you guys think of this chapter? There's a lot to discuss here. There's a whole lot to discuss here. But I don't want to make predictions, because I honestly, this is the first time I'm reading a One Piece arc, and I have zero clues, zero ideas, right or wrong. Even if I was wrong, I have zero ideas on where this arc can go from here. Because, okay, so on the page where we see Saint J. Garcia Saturn, and then we see Kizaru, and then we see Vice Admiral Dahl. Are the other three characters new characters that we've never seen before? Or am I just forgetting them? Let me know. Because the guy on the top left looks hella familiar. And then the guy in the middle, the bottom middle, with the long beard and the sunglasses, he doesn't look familiar, but he's reminding me of someone else that we've seen that I can't put my finger on. There's another character that looks like that. I just can't think of who. Like, there's definitely a character in One Piece that looks like this guy, but isn't him. I know it's not him, but he looks like him, and I can't put my finger on it. Law is up right now. He can 100% afford to take an L. Yeah, exactly. Law and Kid are both up, right? They beat Big Mom. They're both up. When I first read chapter 1077, I was thinking Kid was just going to get negatived, right? But now the more I think about it, Kid taking an L is a little bit iffy right now, right? It's a topic for sure. Can he take an L? Yes, he can. But it's more complicated than that, because if Kid takes an L, he's not as connected to the Straw Hats as Law, where Law might get that sympathy from Luffy. I don't know. And first of all, Law doesn't even want the One Piece like that. He doesn't really want it like that, right? Like, I know he's gathering the rubbings and shit, and like he wants the One Piece technically, but what he really wants is to find out the history and learn the history. And I think even when he was fighting Big Mom, he was saying something like, man, I have to fight Big Mom just to learn more about my history, or the history of the D. That's his main thing. And Kid is the One Piece, just like Luffy. But also, the thing with Law is Law got a whole flashback. He got all the stuff in Dressrosa. Law's character can die, and it will be okay. We won't like it. We will definitely hate it, but from a narrative perspective, you could make the argument that Law has completed his arc, or that, not that he's completed it, but it's completed in a sense that if he were to die now, even though he's still aiming for his mission, if he were to die fighting for that mission, at least he got some kind of closure from his original character that we saw in Sabaody. We've learned about arc. Pretty much when he beat Doflamingo, that was it. Everything after that is new ambitions that's coming to him. I think even he always has a goal that seems more important than the One Piece to him, and the One Piece is in the back seat, just so that he could say he's in the race for it as a character, because he's a supernova at the end of the day. And he can't have that rivalry with Luffy and Kid unless he can at least make the claim that, yes, he is indeed going after the One Piece. But At first, it felt like Doflamingo and taking down Doflamingo and Kaido was more important to him than the One Piece. And then when that happened, now it seems like finding out about the D is more important than the One Piece. This was a great chapter. Yeah, it was. What's up, Monair Cabby? In my opinion, Law, Kid, and Luffy are going to take an L. The difference is Luffy's plot armor. So, who's Luffy going to take an L to? Kizaru, the Gorosei? Plus, Luffy, there's no point in even discussing Luffy, because Luffy, if he takes an L, he's just going to come right back. That's how Luffy is. He's the main character. He's always just going to come right back. So, Luffy, even if he takes an L, it's not really an L. It's a temporary L. So I don't know if I would qualify that as an L. But Law and Kid, I don't know. Could they both take an L? Could one of them take an L? It's going to be interesting. I think Law is 100,000% taking an L. And with Kid, I think unless he's going to get saved by a Gorosei member or someone. No, it has to be a Gorosei member. Otherwise, I think he's done. I don't see the people of Elbaf turning on Shanks, who is their ally for a very, very long time, for many, many years, who is like, that's his territory. Elbaf is his territory. Just because this one dude had a mutual enemy as them and took her down for his own personal reasons. That just doesn't make sense to me. 10 out of 10 chapter was good enough to make me not care that we're not getting Winter Island and Elbaf, to be honest. I think that's like, we've all seen enough One Piece to know that when we see startups like that hype, like the beginning of Kid and Shanks and the beginning of Law and Blackbeard, just know, like, as soon as it cuts, that's about it. I'll be honest with you guys, when Law and Blackbeard first met up and that chapter ended with them saying winner take all, I was already happy. I thought that was it, because I'm already adjusted to that mentally. Oda has already programmed me that way, where I'm gonna think that's it. So when we went to the chapter right after that, and we continued and we actually saw some of the fight, I was beyond gassed. I was beyond grateful, because I did not expect that in the slightest. And even though it was a little bit, that's more than I would have expected personally. So I wouldn't expect more of those fights now, but I would expect to hear major news about them. And a lot of interferences. Hard to say narrative when Pell survived. Pell, I don't know. I think if Oda doesn't need to kill someone, then he doesn't kill them. Law might be a character that he would eventually need to kill. Maybe. Garp could save Law. He very well could. But I think Garp is going to save Kobe, and Blackbeard is going to capture Law. And Kobe's going to leave with Garp, and Pudding might be saved as well by either I don't think Big Mom will come, actually, but I think maybe by Katakuri and Oven, taking advantage of all the chaos going on with Garp and Blackbeard fighting. Maybe Pudding gets saved, maybe not. Kobe, 100%, I think Garp is going to come in, get Kobe, and leave. Straight up, do the job. And I think Law is going to get captured. And we're probably going to see his crew stranded somewhere. Maybe Luffy bumps into them and realizes Law is captured. Maybe he reads it on a newspaper. Luffy L is supposed to show that a character is stronger than Luffy. What do you mean? But that's not an L. That's a temporary L. Like, that's like saying Luffy's L to Crocodile. It's an L, but if he just keeps coming back and wins, is it really an L? Like, in that case, he lost twice to Crocodile. Him and Zoro both got absolutely destroyed by Lucci. And then he lost how many times to Kaido? Like 4 or 5 times to Kaido, right? There's probably more characters he's lost to that I just can't think of. So Luffy always takes L's if you're going to go like that. I'm talking about permanent L's. Yo, W Stream, thanks for our scans. OP scans. Is that the OP scans? Let me see here. I think that's them. Shout out OP scans if that's them. OP scans in the stream. Delivering the early content. Keep it up. If that's really you, OP scans, keep it up. Keep it up, because you guys are coming out earlier, much earlier than the competition, and I know myself and a lot of other people have now jumped to OP scans. Because a lot of times I really honestly don't have time to wait. Like, I can't. If I wait, I'm then going to be in a position where I can't live react or live stream the chapters. Caesar Clown. If Luffy takes an L, but shout out to OP Scans in the chat, guys. If Luffy takes an L right after he became Yonko, that would legitimate Lucci disrespect to Luffy. If Luffy takes an L right after he became a Yonko. Okay, if Luffy takes an L to an Admiral, then he's not really Yonko level. But I think his fight with Kaido already disproved that. So clearly, he's already done enough to put him on Yonko level. So Lucci is just coping, clearly. Lucci's just coping. OP Scan is delivering gas fast. Yes, sir. The idea of a temporary L is odd. L stays forever. But does it really stay forever if you come back and you beat that person? Like, okay, if you were to talk to a buddy of yours now that watches One Piece and you were to say, I don't know, if you guys are talking about Luffy versus Crocodile and you said who won that fight, whose name are you gonna say? Are you gonna say Crocodile won that fight, or are you gonna say Luffy? Technically, there were 3 fights, and Crocodile won 2, Luffy won 1. But everyone is gonna say Luffy won that fight. Luffy versus Lucci, who won that fight? Technically, it's 1-1, but Luffy won that fight. Luffy versus Kaido, who won that fight? Kaido not only beat him like 5, 6, 7, 8 times, but Kaido literally got a box that said Luffy versus Kaido, winner Kaido. And then later on, Luffy beat him and it says Luffy versus Kaido, winner Luffy. People are going to say Luffy won that fight. So those aren't really, I don't see those as L's as much as I see them as like temporary downs. Like you get knocked down in boxing, you get back up at 8, you get back up at 9, but you don't stay down for the 10 count. You were down, you were on your ass, you were on your back, but you got up before the 10 count. So I don't really see it as an L. Okay, it's an L, but if you come back and you beat that character, it's not a real L. A real L is like Zoro versus Mihawk. That's a real L. Like Zoro took that L. Luffy at Marineford took an L to everyone there. He took a straight up L. Luffy and Magellan, that was an L because he didn't get back at Magellan. So there's L's. I think Luffy took a lot of L's in the Summit War Saga. Luffy in Sabaody was the biggest L. With Sabaody and with Kuma. That was a huge L. The Summit War Saga is where Luffy took L after L after L after L. But everything else, it's more so just him getting knocked down to come back up so that Oda can show us Luffy's resilience. If MMA fighter wins against someone that beat him, does that make the previous L's void? But that's different, right? Like MMA fighters, they can go years without fighting and they come back and have a part 2, a part 3, a part 4, right? Like Connor and Dustin Poirier. But it's different. It's not like they lost a fight and then they come back up before the night's over and they beat them again, right? Like imagine the beginning of a UFC card. I don't know. Conor McGregor was fighting Conor was fighting Habib Nurmagomedov, and Habib beat Conor. Conor gets his ass kicked, and then by the end of that night in the main event, Conor comes back like WWE style and beats Habib. Then is it really an L? I don't know. You can't really compare it to UFC, to be honest. You can't, because UFC is beginning of the fight, end of the fight, done. That's it. But this is anime at the end of the day, right? Like, I don't know. I wouldn't say, if you want to say Luffy took permanent L's, go for it. Me, personally, I would count those as temporary L's. I would say Sabaody was an L buffet. Exactly. Sabaody was an L buffet. Summit War Saga was an L buffet. But other than that, Luffy's always going to take those kinds of L's to his opponents before beating them. Can we continue making these weekly live reactions a major part of the channel? I really enjoy the reactions and discussions. I'm enjoying them too. And I'll be honest with you guys, I'm seeing the numbers grow. It was first like 5, 6, 7 people in here on like my first 1 or 2. At the highest, I think was like 7 people. And now I saw like 21, 22 people in here at one point. We got 19 likes. Like the stream, guys. Like the stream. We got 17 people watching right now. I'm enjoying these a lot too right now. It's just that right now, specifically right now in my life, I got some stuff going on, new job, and I got training with this new job. So until my training portion is done, it's a little bit hard for me to control my schedule. It's really hard. That's why I'm inconsistent with the videos right now too. But in the next 2 to 3 weeks, hopefully, God willing, I should be back to normal where I can now stream. I can stream whenever I want to, and I can upload videos twice a week on Tuesdays and Saturdays like usual. But I really do enjoy these live streams. And I'm seeing more and more of you guys come in here. So I appreciate that. Thank you guys. And that's more incentive for me to want to continue doing these. But I think I'm going to call that a stream, guys. it was a good chapter. It was a very good chapter. We had a lot of people in here, over 20 people. That's the most we had in a stream. The numbers are up. Yes, sir, Cosmos. The numbers are up. Admirals versus grown-up Seraphims. Admirals versus grown-up Seraphims. So would the Seraphims really... How OP would the Seraphims be if they were adults? Would it change? Because they're robots at the end of the day. I don't know. It's an interesting discussion. Grown-up Seraphim, they are supposed to be the strongest. They are. And they seem to be like the most durable. But who knows? But anyways, guys, that's One Piece chapter 1078. So glad I got to live react to it with you guys here today. And we got that great discussion out of the way. Stick around and stay tuned. This Saturday, I got a fun theory video for you guys. If you guys haven't seen already, I uploaded a video earlier today. So if you haven't watched that video, go watch that video. I pretty much talk about where I think the other two fights are gonna go with Shanks and Kid and Law and Blackbeard. But Saturday, I got a fun theory video for you guys. I think you're all gonna love. So all of you guys, let me shout all you guys out right now. Cosmos, Monair Cabby, Ringo, Maddie, Almighty. Who else is still here? Ringo. I said Ringo. OP Scans was here. Shout out OP Scans. One Piece. JMT93. Jam IM. I know Boro was here earlier. And many, many, many more. So thank you guys all so much. And again, tune in this Saturday for a great theory. And hopefully next chapter or some chapters coming up in the future, I'll be able to catch you guys live again. But until then, guys, thanks for watching. Nature Boy out.